State, probably one of the earliest in the women's gymnastics program, and Jean played a large role in me coming to Penn State, but what I really want to say is something that I reflected on it when I was reading the articles that were published in the last couple of weeks about him, and it reminded me of something when I moved back to State College about 7 years ago. I went to visit Gene and asked him, what could I do to try to help bring back the atmosphere in Rec Hall that existed during the gymnastics meets in our time. Those of you who remember, it was such a wonderful event for the spectators, and it's really different now. And I asked him, you know, what can I do? And he talked about, at quite length, for a while, about how he viewed the athletes as the student princes and princesses. And this was in some of the things that were written about him recently as well. And it kind of goes back to what Randy just mentioned about how people marched out on the floor and so on. And when he said that to me, and I was thinking about it in the context of the way the meets are today, I was like, okay, well, you know, it's just never going to happen. I don't know how to bring that to, you know, into today's world. But, and even thinking back to in the 70s when I was young, and many of us who were gymnasts with Gene, you know, we didn't act very much like princes and princesses at that time. But I think what he saw in what he saw in each one of us was that real royalty and serenity of the soul that is a part of every human being. And most of the time we don't have so much awareness of that part of ourselves. And I reflect that he really did see that in each one of us. And if you were here in April when so many people came back to visit with him and talk with him and talk about what they had become in their lives, and it was just really clear to me that the way that belief or what he saw in us really had a big effect on all of us that grew up and were touched by him in who we became, the kind of people that we became. And that's just what I wanted to honor about Gene.